Hari Ram, Hari Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shall we begin?
Yes, Prabhu Hare Krishna. We are live on Facebook. I just checked it. Give me just a second. Hare Krishna, Subha Vilas Prabhu. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. Just to give a few lines about your, to the audience who are coming on Facebook and Zoom. His Grace Subha Vilas Govinda Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanatha Swami Maharaj, and he's a very, very dedicated preacher of Krishna consciousness, and has been very instrumental basically in supporting the congregational development in Tampa area. And he has been practicing Bhakti Yoga for many, many years, for several years, and he is a very knowledgeable in Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti, and all the course details. And he's a working professional living with his wife in Fort Myers. I also want to see in this pandemic time, Prabhu, I have seen many Facebook live sessions with himself and Mataji doing wonderful service because we cannot have a personal association. That was helping us a lot. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Please take us from here.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, and to all the ISKCON Orlando congregation for giving me this chance to be of some service to purify my own self. So I'm very, very grateful to all the authorities and the temple management committee. So, and all of you are like my elder brothers and sisters. So if I make any mistake, I feel very safe, because when a child is with his elder brothers and sisters, the child feels safe. If the child makes mistake, the elder brothers and sisters are there to guide and to correct. So we'll start with the brief Kirtan, Jai Radha Madhava, and then we will dive into the topic of today's discussion, that is importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jayu Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jayu Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Harinam Sankirtana Yagya Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, ISKCON Orlando congregation Ki Jai. So thank you so much to all the Vaishnavas who are present in this virtual association group. I feel so blessed to be in the company of all of you. So I've been given this service to speak on this topic entitled importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm going to share my screen. If someone can give quick feedback, if you're able to see my screen or not, that would be very helpful. Are you able to
Yes,
see?
Prabhu, we can see your screen. Yes, we can see.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So this is very, very important topic, and especially very, very dear to my heart somehow, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, by the mercy of all these spiritual masters, the Diksha Gurus and Shiksha Gurus. So I feel very, very blessed and fortunate to get a chance to speak on this wonderful topic for my own purification, to help my own self understand the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam, so that I can take it with more seriousness and more sincerity, and read with to please Srila Prabhupada, to please the Guru Parampara, and to purify my own self. And if it helps anyone else, that's credit goes to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. So before we start, we'll chant the Mangala Charan to invoke auspiciousness, to get the blessings of Sri Guru Parampara. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। नमो पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रिये। Thank you once again to His Grace Dopine Prabhu and all the ISKCON Orlando devotees for giving me this chance to be of little service to purify my own existence. So I'm eternally grateful to you. And although I can't see you face to face, or but I prostrate myself at your lotus feet and seek your blessings as you're my elder brothers and sisters, so that you can bless me and empower me. So for the next hour or so, I can be of some service to Sri Guru and Gauranga, and may Supreme Lord, Lord Chaitanya, and all our Guru Parampara empower me to speak something to please the Guru Parampara and to please all of you. Thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So I'll start with this quote of Srila Prabhupada, that and today's topic is again importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada has emphasized the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam in every words, in every page of either Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada is saying in this sacred quote that if we read Srimad Bhagavatam, then immediately we will realize God, that is the Supreme Lord. Now, how we read, in what mood we read, when do we read, all those things we will talk about in great detail. But Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Puranas, all the holy scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam is the life and soul of Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam is the life and soul of all the Bhagavatas, the Paramahamsas. Srimad Bhagavatam is the life and soul of all the Samhitas. Srimad Bhagavatam is the desire fulfilling tree. Srimad Bhagavatam can give whatever we want. If we want, there's a verse that akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udharadi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. With whatever way we approach Srimad Bhagavatam, whether we have no desires, all desires, or desire for liberation, we will get that. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. So, with this, we will start our discussion, and I'm not sure how it flows. Are the question answer in the middle or towards the end? So, Prabhuji, you can please guide me and keep me on track. So, thank you. So, a famous kind of philosopher says that when why gets stronger, then how gets easier. So, it's a quote in the material world, but it has a very deep spiritual meaning as well. Whether in any act of devotion, because Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is an essential ingredient. It's not an optional ingredient for bhakti. It is one of the main ingredients of bhakti, Shravanam. So, but when we know why is it important for me, why is it, important, then how will get easier. For example, I like to share this example that often most of us have taken flights, and sometimes our flights may be at odd timings, like morning 4 a.m. or very odd timing. So that means we have to get up at 1 a.m. and go to the airport an hour, or drive maybe and go 2 hours before. But when we know there's a strong why, then we have paid hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars for that flight. We don't miss it when there's a strong why. Or if there's an interview, we may be sick that day, but if there's a critical interview for a job or something, no matter what our situation may be, we will be very active and we will be 100% focused. Why? Because there is a strong why. There's a strong sense of purpose. So similarly, if I understand why Srimad Bhagavatam important for me, why is it essential and mandatory ingredient in our spiritual life, then the how will certainly get easier. So with that theme, I'll again focus on the whys. Sorry, I shared the wrong screen. Okay, that's good. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 22, text number 128, talks about the 5 limbs, the 5 main limbs of bhakti. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana Bhagavata Shravana Mathura Vasa Shri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavata Shravana Mathura Vasa Shri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. So what that means, Srila Rupa Goswami has given 64 limbs of bhakti in the nectar of devotion. And amongst that 64 are these 5 are the main limbs of bhakti. And the next verse says, Sakala sadhana shreshta a pancha anga. That means amongst all the limbs of the sadhana, these are the 5 pancha, sakala sadhana shreshta a pancha anga. These are the shreshta, they are the topmost amongst those 64. Krishna prema janma er panchir alpa sangha. Alpa means little. Alpa sangha, even little association with any of these limbs. That means even practicing these limbs to little degree. What will happen? Krishna prema janmai. That means love for Krishna will awaken in the heart of that practitioner who even takes little association Of what? Of sadhu sangha, association of devotees, nama kirtan, chanting of the holy names, bhagavat shravana, hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, mathura vasa, residing in holy place, and sadhu sangha, nama kirtan, bhagavat shravana, mathura vasa, Shri Murtira, deity worship, Shri Murti, shraddhaya sevana, doing seva, or doing the devotional service with faith. So these are the five main limbs. Now, today our topic is importance of Bhagavatam. So we will see how Srimad Bhagavatam actually covers all these five. That does not mean that we are nowhere undermining the other limbs, but today is like, if today, let's say today is Dvapayan Prabhu's birthday, and we are all glorifying Dvapayan Prabhu, that doesn't mean other devotees are not good. So so the point is, today is we are celebrating about Bhagavatam, so that doesn't mean other limbs are not, but we will glorify Bhagavatam today. That's the important the topic for today. So Srimad Bhagavatam and association of devotees. Like, that's the first limb of bhakti. Because what happens in the association of devotees? Association of devotees does not mean just physical proximity. Like today, especially in this day and age of Corona, physical proximity is limited. You are in Orlando, some are in India, some are in Tampa, I am in Punta Gorda. We are all in different, even in Orlando, we are not sitting in the same place probably. So association does not mean physical proximity. Association of devotees means madchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha, Bhagavad Gita chapter 9. That when devotees come together, now in this day and age, even it could be on a Zoom call, or it could be a Facebook meeting, or in any way, together coming and reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is association of devotees. And on the contrary, one could be physically together and watch some mundane stuff, or just do some mundane stuff which has no link with bhakti. That is not really association. Association of devotees means Krishna Katha, helping each other to grow more in Krishna consciousness. Of course, we should be caring for devotees, and sometimes there could be some casual conversations, but the essence is to help each other to grow in bhakti. And there's a very nice verse which is on the screen, Canto 3, Chapter 25, Text 25. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha tajoshanad apavarga vartamani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukrameshyati. So what it says, Satam Prasangan, Sangha again. Sangha of whom? Satam, the association of pure devotees, intense, Prakrishta Rupena Sangha. What should we do? Mama Virya Samvedo. Don't talk about the cricket, the politics and elections and this and that. That will keep coming and going. Mama Virya, talk about my, Krishna is saying, the Kapila Dev is saying, I think, my activities, my pastimes. That is the meaning of association of devotees. And what will happen when we take this essence, this rasayana, this katha rupi rasayana, the medicine through our ear, it goes in the heart. And what happens? We get free from pavarga. Pavarga, this material world is said to be pavarga, where there is a lot of parishram, there's a lot of fena, pa, fa, ba, bha, ma, and ultimately it's mrityu. And then finally, what happens? Three things happen: Shraddha, Ratir, Bhaktir. Faith will increase, Rati or attachment will increase, and Bhakti or devotion will increase. How? Krame Krame, Anukrameshyati, step by step, just so that if we keep in good association of devotees. And we discuss good association does not just mean physical proximity, it means coming together and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam and association of devotees ties together. In the temple, what happens? We read Srimad Bhagavatam every day, we hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada built that in the curriculum, in the model of all these con temples. Bhagavatam class happens in all these con temples, and it's not that, okay, I stay at home, I don't go to temple much, especially now in Corona time. Prabhupada wanted every devotee to read his books, and we will discuss that more. Otherwise, we will get sidetracked. we will lose the focus, we will lose the why, we will lose the value of Bhagavatam. How much Srila Prabhupada had endeavored for it, how much Srila Prabhupada spent sleepless nights, how much Prabhupada took all the pains at the age of 70 years just to give us Bhagavatam. Someone asked Prabhupada, why are are you going to US? Are you going to America? No, Prabhupada said, Srimad Bhagavatam is going to US. I'm just a carrier. I'm just a servant. So reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam helps to develop congenial relationships. And again, Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 3rd chapter, 30th text says this. Parasparanukathanam pavanam bhagavat yashah mitho ratir mitho tushti nivritta mitha atmanah. So one should learn to associate with devotees of the Lord by gathering with them in this corona, gathering on Zoom or gathering on Facebook. And what should we do? Chant the glories of the Lord. Read Srimad Bhagavatam, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, chant together. This process is most purifying. Pavanam Bhagavat Yasha. As the devotees thus develop their loving friendship, mitho rati. Loving friendship will develop. Mitho tushti. Mutual happiness will develop. And satisfaction will develop. And thus, by encouraging one another, they are able to give up all the material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. In short, reading Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, chanting the name, form, qualities of the Lord, everyone's relationship with each other will also strengthen. There was a couple, His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj was mentioning this, that there was a couple who had a lot of challenges and a lot of arguments, fighting and stuff, whatnot. Maharaj said, why don't you read Srimad Bhagavatam together every day? Then they followed that, and all their arguments were gone, and they developed what? Mitho ratir mitho tushti nivritta mitha atmanaha. Because when the center is common, the ripples add. But when there is lack of Krishna consciousness, then there will be a lot of challenges and problems. His Holiness, I'm forgetting the name. This Giriraj Maharaj, yes, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, when he was the temple president of ISKCON Juhu in the beginning days, as we know, there were a lot of challenges. And then, so people used to come, hey Maharaj, I have this problem, I have that problem, and this is not working, and this devotee is not cooperating, and whatnot. So Maharaj decided that Prabhupada had told him to have 24-hour kirtan, but somehow Maharaj got a little delayed in executing that service. So Maharaj decided to execute that. And on every Saturday, I think they were doing this 24-hour kirtan. And Maharaj said, whoever would come with problem, Maharaj would say, why don't you come for the 24-hour kirtan on Saturday and I will listen to your problems on Sunday. And Maharaj said almost 99-100% of the problems were gone. Whoever would come for the kirtan, and they'll feel like the problem was gone. So why? Because that's the effect of the chanting of the holy name, of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam and Kirtan. So Srimad Bhagavatam not is basically full of Kirtan means what? Kirtan means to glorify. Glorify what? Glorify Krishna's name, form, qualities, the holy name. There's one famous verse which glorifies, there are multiple, like hundreds of verses which glorify Krishna's form, Krishna's name, Krishna's devotees, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's avatars. But just I thought to pick one out of those. Aho bata shwapacho to gariyan yajiva grevartate nama tubhyam te pustapus te juhu shashnurarya brahmanuchurnam grinanti ete. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name, even if born in the families of dog eaters. Shwa pacho, one who eats dogs. Such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your lordship, they must have bathed in all the holy places of pilgrimage and studied all the Vedas and fulfilled everything required. So that's the glory of chanting holy name. So Srimad Bhagavatam time and again tells about the glories of holy name. Nama Kirtan, Leela Kirtan, Krishna's pastimes, the whole 10th canto is full of such sweet pastimes of the Lord. Rupa Kirtan, about Krishna's wonderful form, beauty, features, clothes, jewels, peacock feather, and so much. Guna Kirtan, Bhakta Kirtan, talking about the great devotees of the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Prachetas, and so on. And Bhakti Kirtan, glorifying the processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Even in this verse of Prahlad Maharaj, it basically begins with Shravanam, which is very, very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur noted that how Srila Prabhupada was so eager. And this is my personal observation. Any verse in Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam where the word Shravan is coming, Shrunu is coming, Shrnuvanti is coming, anything connected with hearing is coming, Prabhupada really pours out his heart, his emotion, that and glorifies at least one or two verses in to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, to glorify the process of hearing, that how Shravanam is so important. And a great example is his prayer, his bhajan at the time of uh, when he had not officially even entered United States. So this prayer, Markine Bhagavad Dharma, was signed at the Commonwealth Pier in Boston on 18 September 1965. That's when Srila Prabhupada came. So there's a long prayer, but I just picked a section of it in eighth stanza. भागवतेर कथा से तब अवतार धीरा हैया सुने जदि काने बार बार. The words of Srimad Bhagavatam are your incarnation. And if a sober person repeatedly, kane bar bar, kane means ear, bar bar means again and again, repeatedly receives this message through submissive oral reception, then he will be able to understand your message. So Srila Prabhupada, basically such a humble servant, um, saying that I don't have any qualification, I don't have anything, I'm just a simple servant of Bhagavatam, simple servant of my Guru Maharaj. Srimad Bhagavatam can make the difference. Nachao, nachao, nachao se mate. Oh Krishna, you can make the difference because you're not different from Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that very poem, Prabhupada quotes all these verses, which are basically 1 point, Canto 1, Chapter 2, text 17 to 21, which glorifies Shravanam. So we see here that how this Shravanam is coming. Shune basically means Shravanam in Bengali. So Shranvatam Swakatha Krishna Punyat Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastha Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhritsatam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. And Srila Prabhupada quotes these verses extensively. Anywhere Shravan is coming, Prabhupada uses one of these verses. Bhagavad Gita 7.1. We can open the purport. Prabhupada is using all these verses. Why? Because Krishna says, Maya sakta mana partha yogam yunjan madashraya asanshayam samagramam yatha gyasasi tad shrinu. Now, O Arjuna, here, the word here come and Prabhupada pours his ecstasy and puts all these verses, which basically tell that how by reading Bhagavatam, by hearing Bhagavatam, all the impurities are destroyed and one is free from all the anarthas, and one comes to the mode of goodness, and one is evam prasanna manasa, one is very, very happy by hearing Bhagavatam, by reading Bhagavatam, by chanting Bhagavatam, and one Vidyate Hridaya Granthis, the hard knots of the heart, Chidyante Sarva Sanshaya, all these doubts and illusion is destroyed, and by reading Bhagavatam. So this is, Prabhupada's mood. Prabhupada really is emphasizing on Bhagavatam, is emphasizing on hearing. If we don't hear, then it will be very difficult to make spiritual progress. In fact, chanting also is Shravanam. In chanting, what are we doing? We are hearing the holy name. So we discussed about that how Srimad Bhagavatam means association of devotees, how it means kirtan, sadhu sangha, nama kirtan. Now Bhagavad Shravan, Bhagavad itself, directly hearing, that's like the direct limb. Then comes Mathura Vasa. Srimad Bhagavatam also means residing in holy places. Now, how? It is said in the Bhagavad Mahatmya, where whenever a verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, or even half a verse, what to speak of full verse, is recited, Lord Krishna and his beloved devotees, the gopis, manifest there. Wow. The famous verse which we say oftentimes, Naham vasami vaikunta yoginam hridayeshu va yad gayanti mad bhakta tatra tisthami narada. Oh Narada, where I am present wherever my devotees come and chant together the holy name, the holy pastimes of the Lord. Wherever the Bhagavatam is read, Krishna is present, because Krishna is not different from Bhagavatam. What to speak of even reading? Srila Vaisheshika Prabhu says that even one keeps that Srimad Bhagavatam, the spiritual environment of the home will completely transform. What to speak of one even starts to open and read half a verse or one verse. Whenever and wherever the devotee Bhagavatam hears and recites the book Bhagavatam, at that time and at that place, Lord Krishna personally appears. So that's again from the Bhagavad Mahatmya. So, what is Vrindavan? What is Mayapur? What is the holy place? A holy place where Krishna is present, where devotees have congenial relationships and they come and they have one focus, Krishna consciousness. That's Vaikuntha consciousness. That's Vrindavan consciousness. Of course, we should make plans and try to go to holy places like Vrindavan, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, etc. But we cannot be 24/7 present there or 365 days. We can't just leave our jobs, business, family from Orlando or Tampa, wherever we may be, and say, okay, I'm going to Vrindavan. So that may not be recommended for most with so many responsibilities, but we can make our home a holy place. How? By reading Srimad Bhagavatam, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day. That home is non-different from Vrindavan. Again, a verse to substantiate that. Srimad Bhagavatam 7, 4:30, 35. I'll just read the English for the interest of time. Whenever the pure topics of transcendental world are discussed, referring to Srimad Bhagavatam, spiritual world, the members of the audience, that could be family, that could be congregation, your neighbors, your friends, forget all kinds of material hankerings. The Trishna is forgotten. Everyone is running, material hankering, more, greed, lust, I want more, better things, better gadgets, better this, at least for the time being. Not only that, but they are no longer envious of one another. In this day and age, people are fighting. Brothers, the blood brothers are fighting and killing each other. Why? Over material hankerings. The family relationships are pretty much broken. Why? Because of lack of Krishna consciousness. But when we adopt these processes of bhakti, so then the envy just goes away. We discussed that mithorati, mithotushti, and they do not suffer from anxiety or fear. These are the two main problems of this world, anxiety and fear. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport, this is just an excerpt from that, the place immediately becomes Vaikuntha or Vrindavan. Whenever the holy topics of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, are discussed by pure devotees, and again referring to Shravanam Kirtanam, because Krishna is present. In Hindi or Sanskrit, we say home as Bhavan, but Bhavan, if you take the Bha out of it, it just remains one. One basically means forest. So the Bha of Bhavan is basically Bhagavan, Bhakti, Bhakta, Bhagavatam. If these activities are not happening in a home, in a temple, that is just a place, it's just a one, it's like a forest. So no matter wherever we are, whether in home or in the temple, no matter whatever our ashram or age or sex or color of skin, all those are secondary, because we are eternal part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And the Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. So to be happy, we have to engage and feed our soul by the process of bhakti, by the process of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Otherwise, we will be diverted. And again, deity worship, the last limb, Srimurti Raseva. So when Krishna, this again comes in 343, when Krishna left for his own abode, then what happens? Then he appeared as this Bhagavatam Purana to give light in the dark age of Kali Yuga. So Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. It is not just an ordinary book like Harry Potter or any Tom, Dick, Harry book. It is non-different from Krishna. His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu personally worships Bhagavatam on the altar. and many devotees also do that. We have in the Bhagavatam installation ceremony. So why in the Bhadra Purnima so many 10,000, 20,000 actually, 10,000 was the goal, but 20,000 Bhagavatams were distributed all over the world. That's amazing. So wherever Bhagavatam is present, basically it's not wrong to say 20,000 temples were opened by ISKCON, because wherever Bhagavatam was going, that place is non-different from temple. If one is reading that, worshipping that, it's absolutely great to even uh, do the deity worship of Bhagavatam, to put it on the altar. And in many, especially on the Bhadra Purnima or the marathon time, many devotees do that to put Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. They are not different from Krishna. And we have heard that famous slok that how the first few cantos are the feet of the Lord, and as we move up, we go to the waist, and then as we move in the canto by canto, we go to the lotus face of the Lord, which is like the 10th canto. So again, which shows that Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. So worshipping Srimad Bhagavatam, DT installation, Bhagavatam installation is actually non-different. So we just saw that how Sadhu Sangha, Namakirtana, Bhagavad Shravana, Mathura Vasa, and Srimurtir Seva, association of devotees, Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan or hearing, and then the residence at holy place, and then the last one, deity worship, Srimad Bhagavatam encompasses everything. Some more words from Sri Sanatan Goswami. O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. By reading you, one attains transcendental bliss. Parama Ananda Pathaya. What happens when one does patha or studies that? Paramananda, topmost joy one receives. Why? Prema Varshi, Varsha means rains. Prema, you are showering rains of love of Godhead. How? With every akshara, akshara means syllable, or every word is showering what? Love of Godhead. Sarvada, Sarvasevyaya, Shri Krishnaya Namastute. Sarvada, at all times, Sarva, everyone, Sevyaya, at all times, everyone must serve Srimad Bhagavatam. That means must read Srimad Bhagavatam. So now we cannot read 24 hours, which is understandable, but at least we can read some time during the day, whether it is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, one shloka, two shloka. Everyone must at least read for some regulated time. They can start with 10, 15 minutes a day and then gradually go up to 30 minutes, 1 hour or more based on one's situation. There are a lot of other verses, but I think in the interest of time, I'll keep moving. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is also the essence of all scriptures, and it was written by Srila Vyasadeva, who's a literary incarnation of Krishna, at the maturity of his career, we can say, because it is a ripened fruit, like mango. Most people love mangoes. So mango has the main essence, which the juicy part, uh, but it has also skin and it also has seed. Do we eat the skin and the seed? No, that's like trash, or we dispose it or recycle it. But this Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to a fruit, a ripened fruit, Nigama Kalpatarur Galitam Phalam. It's a ripened fruit which has been tasted by Shukhamukha, the parrot of Sri Radharani. But when the parrot touches the fruit or tastes the food, it becomes even more sweeter. So it has become more tasteful. Pibat Bhagavatam. Now there is no seed, there is no skin, there is no leaves or anything. It's just nectar, nectarian juice. It's like a smoothie. These days, smoothie and all these things are in great news. So Bhagavatam is actually the real smoothie, which we must all drink. So it is the essence of all scriptures. It is the essence of all Puranas. It is the essence of uh, of everything. Again, this comes in Canto 12 as well. As Ganga is the best among the rivers, Lord Achyuta or Krishna is the best among the deities, Lord Shambhu, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, and then Puranam Idam Yathadam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the best amongst all Puranas. It is like the sun which has risen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. Again, Sanatan Goswami is speaking. And if we want actual peace, we must open the road to understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and glorifying Him of His virtues and activities as they are depicted in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, this is all from Srimad Bhagavatam. So basically, the Bhagavatam itself is like a glorifying the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam, that how we must take it with deep, deep um, reverence. Now it comes to the mood of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yathamam prapadyante tam satev vachamyaham. So if we approach Srimad Bhagavatam with just some mundane literature, okay, I have to read because some senior Vaishnava told me to read, okay, just for the to check the box, let me read, then we will get that much benefit. But if we really, really are hungry, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj gives this example that if someone is really hungry, very, very hungry, has not eaten for 2 days, and then you give him prasad, will he just eat for the sake of ritual? No, he will absorb each and every morsel of rice, dal, roti, sabji, whatever we give, the person will absorb each and everything. So spiritual hunger is very, very important. The Srila Prabhupada has spent sleepless time to give us this. 500 years back, this was not available. They had to personally, write the Gadar Pandit, and in the Lord Chaitanya's pastime, we hear this example that they had to personally write each and every word. For us, it's a very simple process, just tell whoever the book manager is in the temple, or whoever is managing the books, and the books will reach your home. Very simple. But when things are available easily, it's easy to lose the value. But so therefore we have to remind ourselves every day about the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam, that this is not a mundane literature. We have to read with lot of gratitude how much what Srila Prabhupada has done for us, what Srimad Bhagavatam has bestowed Parikshit Maharaj. How was the attitude? What was the attitude of Parikshit Maharaj while receiving Srimad Bhagavatam? He forgot everything. Hunger was completely gone. He was so inquisitive, eager. Please tell me more. Please tell me about this pastime. So eagerness is there, utsaha, nishchaya, enthusiasm. So the enthusiasm of the speaker, of the hearer, will inspire the enthusiasm of the speaker. So Bhagavatam will reciprocate with us accordingly. And every word, every translation, every purport of Srila Prabhupada is revealing us, if we have that mood, what is Srila Prabhupada trying to teach me today? What is the lesson? Because Srimad Bhagavatam is not just supposed to be read. It is supposed to be read, understood, and applied. Reading is one aspect. Many people may read books. Some people may have done thesis in the PhD in the works of Jiva Goswami. But the mood is not there, the mood of devotion, the mood of bhakti, the eagerness, the prayerful mood, the faith in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So it will reveal to the hearer or to the reader according to how one approaches Srimad Bhagavatam. Now the question may come, okay, the mood we covered with prayerful, with inquisitiveness, with sincerity, gratitude. When should we read? Now, ideally, it says Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Nityam means 24/7, non-stop. But we are not at that level. I'm not at that level. We have our, responsibilities, family and job and work and business and other services and other things. So Srila Jiva Goswami mentions that in the neophyte stage, for sadhakas, Nityam means to have a daily routine. To have a daily routine, a fixed place, a fixed time, which will help us to develop and strengthen that routine stronger. Whether it is 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 2 shlokas, 5 shlokas, and His Grace Vashishika Prabhu has developed a nice app called Be a Sage page by page. So you can calculate, okay, if I read 40 pages every day, I'll read in 5 years, or if I read 40 pages is 1 year, 8 pages is 5 years. So like that, we must develop some routine which will help us to be more organized and to be consistent in our sadhana, consistent in our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is like some modern research that those people who regularly read, associated with 35% reduction in the risk of dementia and reduce of stress level. So rather than reading any Tom, Dick, Harry, why don't we read Srimad Bhagavatam? So it will not just material benefit, but unlimited spiritual benefits. And then where to read? Someone asked Visheshika Prabhu, Maharaj, can I read in the train? I go to use this metro, Delhi metro, or most places have this metro trains. Can I read in over there? And then Maharaj replied that actually, why metros were invented? To read Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, it's a joke, but the point is, Srila Shukdev Goswami answers to King Parikshit in Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text 36. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan hari sarvatra sarvada shrotavya kirtitavyascha smartavyo bhagavan nrinam. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan, O king, therefore, hari sarvatra sarvada. Sarvatra means at all places. Sarvada means at all times. At all places and at all times, we can read Srimad Bhagavatam, we can hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Well said, after saying this, but if we have a fixed place, it will help us to focus better. We can read Srimad Bhagavatam in a shopping mall also, but it is not very conducive. So if we have a dedicated place, like having the right environment for our chanting, for our sadhana, because it's one of the main limbs of sadhana, the 5 main limbs, it will be very, very helpful. But even if you're outside, rather than not reading, is better than to read, even if the place is not highly congenial. Bhagavatam will make that place congenial. The vibrations of the Bhagavatam will make even the surrounding people who may be atheists or non-devotees, they will also be benefited. So I just want to actually play this video, but we'll see if time permits. I will come back to this video. Let me keep going with the other quotes of Srila Prabhupada. So books are the basis, purity is the force, preaching is the essence, and utility is the principles. So Srila Prabhupada has given us these transcendental Bhaktivedanta books, purports, translations, as a servant, as a disciple, grand disciple of Srila Prabhupada. It's our foremost duty to reciprocate what he has done for us. And that's first to ourselves purify by reading his books, by understanding and following, and then at the same time share that message with others according to our capacity. So it's another quote from Srila Prabhupada in April 13, 1972, Melbourne. You are restless because you don't read. I am laboring so hard for you, but you don't take advantage. Don't take advantage of eating, sleeping. Prabhupada is very direct. Take advantage of these books. Then your life will be successful. My duty, I have given you so valuable things, day and night, trying to convince you, each word to word. And if you don't take advantage of this, then what can I do for you? So, Prabhupada is really speaking this to every one of his children, everyone in ISKCON, this statement applies. If we don't take advantage, then, nothing can save us. Prabhupada is there to take us back home, back to Godhead. The Guru Parampara is there, but if we take to the message what they are saying, if we don't follow the contract, then it's only one side, and the contract is basically broken. In the initiation ceremony, it's kind of a contract. Okay, I vow to chant, I will follow this principles, I will do this. It's like a contract. But if the disciple breaks the contract, then Guru Maharaj is not responsible. What can Guru Maharaj do if the disciple is not willing to follow? So what can Prabhupada do is if we don't follow our side? When we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we are sitting in his divine presence. Prabhupada always said that I am present in my books. More than the Vapu or the physical association is the Vani, Srila Prabhupada's Vani in the form of his books. So we are sitting in his divine presence. So that means we should take it seriously, as if Prabhupada is sitting right next to us. How will we be callous? Will I be callous? Will I be okay, casual or do like 10 things at once when Prabhupada is sitting right next to me? I'll be completely focused so that I don't miss any word of Prabhupada. And that's basically Bhagavatam. That's his divine presence, hearing, speaking to us when we follow what is in the books and we get realization. So when we read, we feel Prabhupada's presence if we read with the right attitude. And when we follow, we will get divine realizations. So Bhagavatam will reveal when we sincerely try to follow under the directions of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, we'll get wonderful realizations as well. In my absence, if you read the books, what I talk, I have written in the books. You can associate with me by reading my books. So association again does not mean physical association. Srila Prabhupada is always there. How eager am I to take the association of Srila Prabhupada? That's the main point. How eager am I to read Srimad Bhagavatam every day? That's the main point. There is no literature throughout the universe like Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no comparison. Prabhupada is really emphasizing on all these points that how Srimad Bhagavatam is the life and soul of devotee. Every word is for the good of human society. So we must read and as far as possible, try to distribute these books as well. As God is all light, all bliss, and all perfection, so is Srimad Bhagavatam. Basically, Krishna and Bhagavatam are non-different. If one has that vision, if one has that faith, if one has that sincerity, faith towards Srila Prabhupada, then we can feel that. And then Krishna will reciprocate accordingly. Then Bhagavatam will reciprocate accordingly. Any page you open, that is wonderful reading matter. My ambition is to spread the books far and wide all over the world. So everyone should read at least one of our books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna book, which is also Bhagavatam, and Bhagavad Gita. If only 1% people become devotees, that will change the world. Because, see, the real need of the world is what? Is Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna consciousness is solution to all problems. Krishna consciousness will lead to peace, will lead to harmony, will lead to good environment, will lead to good nature, will lead to good administration, will lead to good leadership, will lead to good, even all crises can be managed. All the solution to all problems is Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is saying even 1%, what to speak of the whole world, when 1% people become devotees, then they will change the world. The materialistic people, read newspapers and magazines and in modern day, blogs and this and that. So much matter every day. The newspaper now, it's so easy. Any Tom, Dick, Harry can post anything on YouTube and Facebook and internet and websites and blogs and vlogs and whatnot. All that is available. But devotees read Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the difference. So we have to, because time is limited. It's not that devotees have extra 2 hours to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Time is limited. In that limited time, how we are utilizing it will make the difference. Both are reading, but the subject matter is different. Again, a wonderful quote. Simply read my books and repeat what I have written, then your preaching will be perfect. So preaching or outreach will also help. And outreach is basically for our own purification. It will help us to go deeper in our chanting, in our because people will ask, hey, you're distributing Bhagavatam, are you reading? Do you know what's there in Canto 7, Chapter 5? Can you tell me what is the story of Prahlad? And then one will think, hey, it's a good question. I don't know what's that story. Let me even go home and today read that. So that will inspire us to go deeper. All the devotees connected with the Krishna consciousness movement must read all the books that have been translated, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, etc. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep, and fall down from their position. Thus, they will miss the opportunity to attain an eternal blissful life of transcendental pleasure. This is a serious message. So this is direct Prabhupada message. I mean, we can put our name here. Dear Subha Vilas Govindas, you must. So we can start from here because we are all connected with Krishna consciousness movement. So you can put our name. You must read all the books translated by me, that is Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, etc., Bhagavatam. Otherwise, if we don't do so, what will happen? We will misuse our time in useless things, in wasteful things, simply eat, sleep, and fall down from our current spiritual position. And we will miss the bus to back home, back to Godhead, or we'll miss the flight back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada is giving us that opportunity, is giving us that chance by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, by associating with devotees, by chanting the holy name. Now, if we don't do that, if I don't do that, then I am missing the opportunity for eternal blissful life. Now, if still I miss it, then it is great misfortune. It is great misfortune. So, should I show that 4-minute video, Prabhu? What do you say? It's only
Yes,
4 minutes.
Yeah, please, please.
Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So now some words directly from Srila Prabhupada's mouth. Oh, I forgot to share the sound. I think now it should be good. Able to hear? It's going to
On the part of Maharaj Yudhishthira, it was quite in order to maintain his uncle in a befitting manner, but acceptance of such magnanimous hospitality by Dhritarashtra was not at all desirable. He accepted it because there was no other alternative. Vidura particularly came to enlighten Rashtra and to give him a lift to the higher status of spiritual cognition. It is the duty of the enlightened soul to deliver the fallen ones. And Vidura came to that reason. But talks of spiritual enlightenment are so replacing that while instructing Dhritarashtra, Vidura attracted the attention of all the members of the family, and all of them took pleasure in hearing him patiently. This is the way of spiritual realization. The message should be heard attentively, and if spoken by realized soul, it will act on the dormant heart of the conditioned soul, and by continuously hearing, one can attain the perfect state of self-realization. Therefore, Sravanam is very essential. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasim. So in all our centers, this process should be followed. We have got now so many books. Simply, if we read books, our Yogeshwar Prabhu is very enthusiastic to read books. Everyone should read books, and others should hear. That is very essential, Savanam. The more you hear, we have got so many books. Whatever is already published, just like we are describing one verse daily, at least there are so many verses already in stock, you can go on speaking for 50 years. These books are already published. You can go on. There will be no one stop. So this practice should be adopted. Don't waste time. As much as possible, try to hear about this transcendental subject matter, Bhagavatam, Jad Vaishnavanam Priya. It is stated that this Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very dear to the Vaishnavas, to the devotees. In Vrindavan you will find they are always reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That is their life and soul. So now we have got already 6 volumes, and further 7, 8 volumes are coming. So you'll have enough stock. So you should read Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu. That is the main business. That is pure devotional service. because we cannot devote 24 hours in hearing and chanting, therefore we have extended our activities, program activities in so many ways. Otherwise, Srimad Bhagavatam is so nice. If you practice anywhere, any condition, simply by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll be happy. So adopt this practice and make your spiritual life perfect more and more. Thank you.
So, directly from Srila Prabhupada's lotus mouth, so direct that Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Srimad Bhagavatam will lead to all happiness if we do it. Does not matter which city or country of the world we are in, does not matter anything else. We all have, by Krishna's mercy, access to Srimad Bhagavatam. So now it's just a matter of choice, that how sincerely and seriously one takes and paves one's road back home, back to Godhead. So it's exactly 12:30, and I would like to pause here and express again my gratitude to ISKCON Orlando congregation for giving this chance to purify myself and to reiterate to my own self the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Subha Vilas Prabhu, thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful class and stressing how important for us to, take time to read the Srimad Bhagavatam. And you have spent so much time to prepare, come up with this, wonderful presentation. I'm sure hours together you might have, spent. It has, detailed pictures and texts and references and Prabhupada, direct voice. So thank you once again for your time. And I would like, if anybody on the call, on the Zoom, or, if you guys have any questions, please unmute yourself, or any comments, please pass on.
Hare Krishna, Subha Vilas Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
So wonderful
Prabhu.
to see you on the call and giving such a wonderful on-the-point class, I would say. And, your inspiration is very wonderful to all of us, which helps us, to become more loyal, more dedicated to Srila Prabhupada. And, you are such a devotee, such one devotee, who we meet, or I will take my example, who I meet, and I always get reminded more about Krishna because of your, the more you are reading, the more you're engaged. And in the very beginning, you mentioned about how Srila Prabhupada said this Bhagavatam is such an high elevated material, and in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and that reminded me the shloka, and I thought, wow, when I saw Prabhuji, this shloka came to my mind, that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita is mentioned that Krishna Tulya Bhagavat Vibhu Sharva Shroye Prati Shloke Prati Akshare Nana Arthe Koe. So Bhagavatam is compared to Sri Krishna, where every shloka and every akshar, every text and every word has very, very meaningful meanings. So, and whoever reads it, just like you read, whoever reads it, they know everything we read just pours nectar out of it. We just taste wonderful words out of it. So Prabhuji, thank you very much. And we are so grateful that you are part of our community, not too far away, 2 hours, 3 hours away. And we're grateful to have you on our call, and definitely would like to have you come more and more. The question that I have, and also just to let all the audience know that Subha Vilas Prabhu hosts his own Srimad Bhagavatam calls every night, every day, as he said, Nityam Bhagavata Seva. And there's a group also, WhatsApp group, Nityam Bhagavata Seva. If anyone wants to join the group, they can let me know or let him know directly. You can join the group every night, 8 p.m. He has a Bhagavatam study call, and everyone joins it via Zoom. So Prabhu, my question is, mostly I think all of us as devotees know what hard work Srila Prabhupada has done in writing this book through sleepless nights. So, and we may read here and there sometimes, or some people may read on their own, not together as a group like many people do. And of course, this corona situation has made it so that there's not much options to go to meet physically, so we can use the online options to read the Srila Prabhupada's books. So, the question that I wanted to ask you, and you mentioned in your slides nicely, but just like for a practical situation for people in our areas that, how can we find time to get together? Because some people might say that, okay, this is a full-time devotee, they don't have kids, they don't have family, they can do this. But people with family and kids, they are very difficult to find time with those things. So finding the time is one thing. And some devotees, some people might think that, okay, I'm reading on my own, it's fine. And sometimes when you try to encourage other devotees, they might think, okay, we are judging them. You think, okay, you are too good in reading, you want me to read too? Why don't you just read? Don't worry about me, I'm good, So certain things are there. And if anyone is reading, it's great, it's very good, it's happening. But and when the outpour of like nectar comes like persons from you, you can feel that this is what someone is really doing. He is reading and he's coming out and sharing, and then we all feel inspired. But if you are just reading but not sharing, then again, the inspiration for others, the motivation for others just remains stagnant. So my question though basically was that how can we be encouraging to each other of supporting each other in readings. Someone likes it reading, they read it, but how to make everyone else to start loving more Srila Prabhupada just by reading his books. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Grace Divine Prabhu. All your words are so inspiring, and you're like my elder brother, always encouraging the younger brother. Thank you so much. So I would, share that one example that if we have to walk, run a sprint, run alone. 100 meters running alone is easy. But if we have to walk long and steady and consistent, it's always to go in group. Because some of you who are hearing may have experienced, I have personally also experienced this, that if something we have to do on and on every day, if we do it in a group, it will add to the motivation. It will add to the consistency. Otherwise, starting is very easy. Okay, inspired today, New Year resolution, something, but on the 1st January, a lot of people make so many resolutions. Okay, I'll work on this, I'll work on my health, I'll go to gym, I'll work on good diet. And after a couple of days or weeks, it just, dies out. But I'll share the example, not my example. I would say if I would have been also studying individually, probably I would have not read daily. I'm honestly expressing myself. But it's all the association of all these devotees, where some of them are present on these wonderful Zoom calls and also hearing. So now it just started with one person, and when I was in Rochester 6 years back. And since then, we have been trying to consistently read every day, and more devotees are coming. And I'll share the example of one devotee who's present on this call. His name is Babu Kanayan Prabhu. He just came like 2 months back. He got a Bhagavatam set. And now I was just asking, we just completed the Canto 7. I said, what are your thoughts? What are your reflections? And he didn't even, thought he will be able to take out 45 minutes. That's our class duration. I said, you come for 15 minutes and you can sign off later. You don't have to be present for 45 minutes. You try to come whatever, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, as per your time, you try to come. Now, he was mentioning that his younger daughter has developed such a schedule that at 8 o'clock, she will come and bring the Bhagavatam in the hands of the father. It's time to read Srimad Bhagavatam. And he and the whole family is getting so much spiritual bliss. So each and every person on the call is such a unique story. I mean, my heart melts sometimes to hear those examples. And it is a great example for whether we are in family life or brahmachari life or whatever our situation, family situation may be. Ultimately, we can do it collectively. Whether it is a group of 5 people, Mithorati, it will develop mutual affection between family members amongst the community of devotees. So we all can figure out some time from our day and start with 15 minutes, 20 minutes, work out with some devotees whom we may already be knowing or already join some existing group. Ultimately, it's all a matter of desire. If the desire is strong, where there is a will, there is a way. Krishna will help. We'll develop more mood of prayer. Krishna, please help me. I want to really read it. Then Krishna is the giver of everything. Krishna is the giver of, he will give us time. If we are taking out time to serve him, Do we think we will lose anything? We will certainly not lose anything. We will get more time and everything, our job, business, everything, family, everything will work out much nicer than the current state. So thinking that Srimad Bhagavatam will take 30 minutes of my day, so I don't have time, that is actually, rather it will spoil things. So that's my, thank you, Prabhu. That's my.
No, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I mean, we also have, regular sessions that when we read, and definitely, being involved with work, family life, temple management. But when you come to read Srila Prabhupada's books, we can feel, wow, such a relief. That's like our therapy, that time that we go through when we read Srila Prabhupada's books, and feel we are so bounded, so protected and connected with Srila Prabhupada's society and movement. And we also come to realize our own prescribed duties, what we should be doing, so that a reminder is always required. And and also many devotees may not know Subha Vilas Prabhu is kind of spearheading this project alone on his own from Tampa area. And just by doing these calls, one day he distributed on Bhagavatam set, because someone just saw a picture of Srimad Bhagavatam in his presentation slides and got attracted. So Prabhuji is also distributing Srimad Bhagavatam. And I love really people who distribute Prabhupada's books. And I think for Bhadra Purnima, Prabhuji, how many, 10 sets or something? Or more?
Around 20.
I don't remember you, but I want to just like share this for others' benefit, that how much Prabhupada helps those who like to go close to him. So distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, those are the devotees who got those books from you, is wonderful. And it's, again, you said, I like the point that you said, in a race, if you want to win the race, you can win the race by running alone. But if you want to endure together, let's stay together, let's do things together. So hopefully, people in my community, whoever's listening, community means anywhere, this is all online. So we could get together and do some readings. And the best way, I think, is to join your Bhagavatam calls. You're reading every day. So instead of opening a new one, just join yours. So everyone can, take the opportunity. So Prabhu, you could share your, how can you share your link or something about the Bhagavatam call that you do every day? You can do it here or share with the Rasa Vigraha Prabhu, then he can also share in our groups.
Sure, I'll do that soon.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hope
you.
you come on call again.
Thank you so much for allowing me to get some chance to purify myself. Thank you. I'm so grateful to you and all the Orlando devotees.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. If there are no other comments, probably we can close the call. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a good start for the next week.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much.
Krupasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.